Hello, if you are watching this, then you are on the Arcanine Rides second channel. I think I'm going to call it something like Rides with Arcanine or something along those lines. But while I get riding here, this channel is going to be dedicated to just my completely unedited rides while I'm testing scooters. So I record almost every single time I go out and ride. And so I figured, for those that want to watch that, this channel will be a great resource and will be a chance to see what it's like to ride this around without any of the edits. So that also means that there's going to be sections where I'm not talking and I'm just riding, but you'll also get a little bit more insight into my testing process. You'll get a little bit more insight into my thoughts on a scooter from the get-go. So like, for example, this Splach Thunder, I'm currently doing the review on right now, and this is my very first full ride with it. So I've taken it for just like a couple little short spins just to get a feel. You actually, especially with how many scooters I've ridden, you can get a really good feel for how good a scooter is with just a lap around the block. But this will be my first full ride. I'm going to be heading up in Las Vegas to downtown Summerlin, which is kind of like at least in the area, the most fun, hip shopping center here. And it's about 6 miles there, and then obviously like 6 miles back. So it'll be a good indication of kind of where the range is on this thing. I'll also be able to test it uphill, because most of this ride is going to be completely uphill. And yeah, just get a better feel for it. And you guys also get an opportunity to kind of see what Las Vegas is like and what it's like riding in Las Vegas. Because honestly, most of the time, I'd have to say that Las Vegas is like one of the sketchiest places to ride in terms of like driver competence. I've lived in Utah, I've lived in California, and both places known, at least made fun of in other places of the world or other places of the country for really bad driving. And I'm originally from Las Vegas, and I always had like a superiority complex about Vegas. I was always like, oh, Utah drivers suck, oh, California drivers suck. But I don't know if it's the combo of just like the absolute worst drivers moving in or whatever. I know a lot of people have moved to Las Vegas from other states, but this is the place where I feel the most unsafe. There's also the least amount of infrastructure for riding safely, because like in California we had a lot of divided roads, or like the bike lanes were separated from the regular car lanes, and so I felt really safe because a lot more people ride scooters and e-bikes and stuff, whereas here Las Vegas is not a great place for getting around via bike or via scooter or whatever, because there's not a ton of infrastructure for it. Now there are some pretty good bike lanes bike paths that run along the major highways, which are nice, and I usually actually will drive my car up to the start of one of those. Are we going here? No, we're gonna go to the Angel Park trailway. And if you know where to look for the trails, then there are some okay ones. Like, for example, like I'm gonna go further west here, and I know that there's 2 trail systems that go up west. But like going east from here, there's like a trail system that goes for a few blocks, but there's not really like a ton of amazing options other than surface streets. And I generally like to avoid surface streets just because like it's a numbers game, right? Like eventually, like just from everything I've seen, it's like a motorcycle where people are like, it's not about if you crash, it's when you crash. And so I'm a little paranoid about getting rear-ended by a car or something, so I love to just avoid it entirely. And I know people have a lot of strong opinions about scooters and stuff on sidewalks and on bike trails and stuff, but the fact of the matter is I don't really care about those people's feelings. I care about my safety. And so I'm gonna do what makes me feel the safest. So yeah, so we'll be taking this trail that runs along this golf course here, but once again, it's a trail that only runs partway up this street. It's like, I don't know, it's like a trail system that just like doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And there's a lot of those in Vegas where you have a trail for like a really short period of time and then it just turns into a bike lane anyway. Oh, it's right there. Oops. I always miss it. But let's talk about the scooter, because like I said, this is my first full ride out on it. And this is what I like to do. I like to generally just go out and ride and then like say any thoughts that come to mind. And a lot of those will make the final cut of the review. But generally this is like a really solid scooter. It reminds me a lot of the awesome L2 Max, the awesome DT2 Pro, in terms of both price and in terms of performance. You're getting a ton of bang for the buck at $1,000. And I'm always a little like, these scooters that like focus so heavily on performance at the price, I'm always very skeptical of, because I always assume that there's going to be some catch, like somewhere where they've cut a corner, because $1,000 for a scooter that goes almost 40 miles an hour is really good. It's really good, but generally I feel like this is such a solid scooter. The suspension's a little stiff. It has that like cartridge style suspension, I'm pretty sure, kind of like Dualtrons have. And so I figure it will loosen up over time, like those cartridges will slowly break in. I don't know exactly what material they use, like some sort of polyurethane or rubber or something along those lines. Like here, like, okay, yeah, we got a crosswalk to go across, that's nice, but like, just turns into a sidewalk. There's no bike lane on the right side, so now I'm riding on the left side of the road on a sidewalk that winds between trees. And I'm not gonna ride in that bike lane there into oncoming traffic. No, thank you. But I don't know, it'll at least make it look like I'm going really fast and weaving between trees and stuff. But yeah, the suspension should soften up over time. You can definitely feel it over these sidewalk cracks. It's a little bumpy, but pretty decent. You definitely don't have high expectations for the suspension at this price, unless like you feel like you either get one or the other, right? So like sometimes, like for example, like I bought my Segway Max G3 on pre-order for $900. So in my head, that's kind of around $1,000 scooter. I know that it's sitting at like $1,200 right now, but sales eventually will bring it back down around that $1,000 mark. But like that has fantastic suspension. You know, full hydraulic suspension at this price is fantastic. But then obviously you're compromising on like speed and battery size. And obviously, you know, 28 miles an hour is a lot, but I only personally got like 16 miles of range in my max speed test, and I didn't even go 28 that whole time. It like slowed, it like started capping your speed at like 20 miles an hour about halfway through. Check for any left turns there. Okay. But I like how long this platform is. Lots of room for my feet. The handlebars do feel like they're simultaneously like kind of encroaching on my riding space, but also kind of upright. So the dimension, like the geometry is a little strange, but I don't think it goes, at least so far, it hasn't gone fast enough where I felt any sort of like compromise stability or anything like that. I definitely do want to take it a little easy on these sidewalks. Like, seeing these cracks can be a little, like a crack can sneak up on you. Okay, I should have a bike lane now. Does that say begin right turn lane, yield to bikes? Okay, let's cross. We need to cross both here, so. Bad timing, okay. There we go, there's a walk sign. But yeah, you also kind of get insight into how hyper paranoid I am when I ride. You know, I like to ride fast, but I also just assume the worst of cars because the majority of drivers are oblivious. Like, you should never assume that a car sees you, should never assume that they're aware of you, or that they even care that you're there. Like, a lot of people won't change the way they drive based on you being there. And so you have to do what's safest rather than what will offend the least amount of people, you know? I mean, I have people in my comments who would like have me go 20 mile an hour on would have me ride in a 45 mile an hour speed limit zone with a 20 mile an hour scooter and would want me to not touch the bike lane or the sidewalk. At that point, it's just like, it's either bait or you're so out of touch with like the reality of the situation, you know? Like, like you should always be protecting yourself as a rider first and foremost. You should always assume that people are going to pull out in front of you. You should always assume that people are going to drift into your lane on a turn, you know? because they have a history of doing that. Actually, it was on this exact road where I had someone on their phone fully drift into the bike lane. Like full on drift all the way, like 2 wheels fully in the lane. Like here, you don't assume that BMW sees you. You don't assume that Explorer is gonna yield to you. You slow down, you feather the brakes, you be aware of where of what your braking distances are as well. And as you know, if you're riding the same scooter every day, you should have an idea of how long it takes you to brake. These have hydraulic brakes, which I'm obviously putting a lot of trust in. I would assume at the speeds I'm going, about 30 miles an hour, that is going to take me, I don't know, 40, 50 feet to stop, maybe longer. So just being aware of that and understanding that also if you slow down, you know, slowing down 10 miles an hour won't affect your ride time very much, but it will also drastically decrease your stopping time. It was on this stretch, it was on this left turn here. Woman on her phone drifted right into this lane here. Hugged the inside of this bike lane here. Okay, I think I could jump on. Here's the, this is the 215 Beltway Trail, and I need to go over there, over by Red Rock, to our left. So I should be able to just grab this trail here. I'm gonna jump onto the sidewalk, make sure there's no cars coming. Okay, check for cars, all right. And now we're on the Beltway Trail. This is my go-to trail, so it's nice to be back here. The nice part too is that it's very, especially with it being, you know, 105 degrees during the day right now, there's almost never anyone on it. So you can also test, you know, scooters at their highest speeds. You can see how fast they actually go. There's quite a bit of headwind. I think this thing's supposed to go like 35, 36 miles an hour from other reviews I've seen. Make sure I stay nice and crouched with the legs bent so that if there's any unexpected potholes or anything, I'm ready for them. And then obviously when there's people on the trail, you know, you want to be respectful. There's a way to you know, have fun and rip around some trails and also be respectful to people. I think people, it's so black and white for some people where it's like, oh, these scooters are a nuisance, ban them. Or like, oh, you should never ride on, there's no reason to ever ride on a bike path, or there's no reason to ever ride on a sidewalk or whatever. When there's really good reasons. There's a ton of safety involved, and people get so hyper-focused on, oh, the safety of pedestrians, when the reality is that it's much less safe for someone, actually I'm gonna go here, it's much less safe for someone on a scooter to be on the road. And a scooter rider that is smart and considerate can make it a perfectly fine place for other pedestrians to ride and can be respectful and stuff. And I'm not saying I'm perfect about that, you know, but I've definitely gotten better as time has gone on. I've definitely like made more and more effort to try and keep myself safe while also keeping a good reputation for scooter riders. You know, if you're respectful to pedestrians, you slow down. Sometimes, especially if they're older and they're more likely to get upset at you, you can just get off of your scooter. And I've actually had people thank me, oh, thank you for getting off your scooter. And I think that all does a good job to like establish scooter riders as respectful, polite riders. And the next time they see a scooter rider, that sticks in their head and they go, oh yeah, that's right, not all of them are douchebags. There are some out there that can be respectful and ride safely. We're still recording? Yeah. 17 minutes. Oh yeah, this is the Red Rock Casino right here. This is, I think it opened in 2008. So I feel like the casino we hung out the most in high school. We'd play elevator tag in the hotel. That was a lot of fun. And like casinos, people who don't live in Las Vegas don't realize like the casinos have like everything. Like if you want to go see a movie, you don't go to a theater, you go to a casino because they have theaters. They have arcades, they have restaurants, so like I feel like half of the time in high school when you're hanging out with a group, you end up at a casino for one reason or the other. Kind of funny, kind of a part of the culture here. Thanks. Kind of part of the culture here that people don't always realize. But where we're going, downtown Summerlin, is just on the other side of the casino there. So we're gonna come down to this. I think there's a more direct way to get here other than going up. I think you can cut across. I might have been able to go down Pavilion. Yeah, I could have gone down Pavilion Center, but I just kept going straight. But it's all right. A little bit longer ride here. Now I need to cross. Loyal to the foil. I probably shouldn't read things I see on a lamppost because I don't know what that means. You are up in like Suron kid territory. I've never been harassed more than by like Suron kids. Especially if I'm riding a slower scooter, because I come up to this Beltway trail and sometimes some of these parks around here to record, and like the kids are just like some of them are respectful and they just like are curious about the scooter, but most of them are like hostile. Like, oh, how fast does your scooter go? Oh, my Suron's faster. And then they get upset when you're like, oh, they're like the Suron your mom bought for you. Also, if you're a parent and you're watching this, do not buy your kid a Sur-Ron. Do not buy them a fast scooter. It's like so stupid. It's like they don't need it. I feel like parents are just like purposefully, like blissfully ignorant. They do no research about these essentially motorcycles, and they just let their like 14-year-old kids go out and rip around because they saw a Sur-Ron video or whatever. So yeah, do your due diligence if you're a parent. It's ridiculous. Especially the kids that are riding around without helmets. If they're riding around with helmets and they're following the rules of the road or whatever, like, fine, right? I'm not like anti Sur-Ron in every single scenario, right? I'm generally for less legislation when it comes to electric scooters and electric bikes and stuff. I think you can make rules of the road, but regulating like how much power a bike can have or how much power a scooter can have, I'm against. But I am for parents doing their due diligence and being conscious of what they're purchasing for their child and making sure that they know the rules of the road before they ride one, and knowing, and wearing a helmet and wearing the proper safety gear and that kind of stuff. So there you go, rant over. All right, this is downtown Summerlin, or DTS as the hip kids call it. Nice place. Gotta find a good place to lock up the scooter. The nice part is that I'm not as paranoid as I was in California about having my scooter stolen, especially around this time of day when it's mostly like grandmas and moms that are out and about. Let's see. I think presumably like the parking garage will have stuff, but I don't know. I didn't end up talking a lot about, I'm gonna go right here. I didn't end up talking a lot about the scooter because honestly it was great. I mean, you'll obviously hear more about it in the review, but like I have no complaints. Actually pleased as punch with how this felt to ride. There's got to be bike racks around here. Oh, are these the bike racks? Yeah, these are the bike racks. Nice. Okay. And I can park in the shade. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for riding along with me. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. I just rambled the whole time. I wasn't quiet for a second. I feel like I turned into main channel mode where I feel like I have to talk the whole time. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to talk more about the scooter or if you like just general rambling. And let me know if you watched it all the way till the end. So thanks for riding along with me. See you in the next one.